right, I'm just going to post this video just so that you guys have access to how to make your own structured water. In other words, how to erase all the other crap that's in the water that you're drinking, stuff you're getting from the shit sifters and whatnot. So let's watch and see what he says here.
Try not to get this too close to my computer or my camera. I probably should have moved those before making this video. I have a couple of these. I have a whole lot of these 2" by 2" by 1" neodymiums. People say, where do you get them at? When you get them on eBay. In this prior video, which I think you should actually check out, I talk about where the memory within water is actually stored logically and retroductively, and fully in line with Occam's razor, where memory must be within the specific geometry. And that geometry is, like I said, tattooed on the back of my hand. I've always been into like weird scientific stuff. Not like weird, but I mean, you know, when I was like 12 years old or something, what I wanted for Christmas was a liquid nitrogen Dewar flask, and I was doing so-called superconductor sets with yttrium, barium, copper oxide. Always really thinking very deeply and hanging out in like college libraries and studying abstruse things of both metaphysics and science. I always knew so-called science was a bunch of atomistic BS, even at a very young age. Anyway, this specific geometry that's tattooed on the back of my hand, the oxygen and hydrogen molecules, makes up the specific incommensurate geometry of water. And I had no idea people were so interested in this. I've had this device now. I think I made this one in 2012. Just like this, I rebuilt it because the tubing got worn out. This one is about 8 months old. I have two of these. One of them is in line with the Camelback system for use with camping. You actually suck the purified water through this tubing. Not this one. Mine is inline. I also attached, there's a neat sort of water filter that actually uses microtubules, and you actually can pull the water directly out of, like, say, a dirty creek or pond, and you purify it, and you actually pass it through this for structured water. But I'm going to sound weird when I say this, but I have countless water filters, and this is, by the way, the one that's used by the Navy SEALs and Delta Force. It's a ceramic. It's made in Switzerland. I got a couple of these. They're obnoxiously expensive. They're called Kaded and Pocket Filter. But me and my buddy are big into water filtration. We'd actually talk about bacterial removal and level of micron purification. And most filters, including this one, don't remove microviruses. And we talk about special filtration or add-on filtration. So I've always been heavily interested in water. Anyway, this one's I attach to a stand, and I actually let water pour through it. It would cost you roughly $38 to buy one of these. You can create one that's inline, like I said, like my Camelback set. I can't believe so many people were interested in me showing my structured water set. Let's first talk about structured water. There's about maybe 1,000 or so structured water devices, of which I've seen, there's probably more than 1,000. I've seen at least 500 of them. Most of them are asinine and ridiculous. The flaws, and I'll get to this one in just a second, the flaws that most of them have is that they'll use like an inline for your piping system from like your cold water, your hot water. And it just has a set of ring magnets inside of it. The water passes through at about the speed of light. Nothing really gets done. People say, well, you know, we'll vortex the water up, or we'll actually... And it is a fact, too, and this is, as I mentioned in the prior video, that structured water actually has different osmotic permeability properties. Like if you take in when you're really dehydrated, you'll get rehydrated faster with structured water. It also is better for your system. Also, too, as I explained in the prior video, the nature of water containing memories and where that memory is, the topos. You have to see the prior video for that. And the perfect analogy that I came up with, and I'm a bit of a hard drive guru also, actually I'm a lot of a hard drive guru, is that water just, even though it's been filtered and it is perfectly pure in the conventional sense of, you know, not being full of poo and countless other things, the water that actually...
All right, let's take a break here and just look at something, because I feel like maybe this is a good place to pause and share something with you. put that? God is spirit. The letter Mem represents water, blood, spirit. I don't know if I wrote that big enough. Probably not. Let's do that. God is spirit. This is the Hebrew letter. This is the ancient Hebrew. It's the letter Mem, which is pictographically water, blood, spirit. The spirit is located in the blood. But this Mem looks like this. Water, the word for water is this right here in the ancient. Go. Looks like this. Mime. So you got water, works, deeds, mind, will, emotion, water. Okay? So if we were to look at this word, we look at this guy right here. This is works, mind, will, emotion. Okay. What this is telling you is that water, the yod here, is telling you that the water takes the shape or the form of the mind, will, emotion, or the works, the container of which it's in, or the stuff that's put into it. Okay? So what he's explaining here in the physics side of it is that there's lots of, in the water, even if you remove everything out of it, like all of the particles and poo particles, pee particles, all that stuff, you still have the memory. You still have the memory inside the water, which is the spiritual aspect of it, not the physical, which contains the mind, will, and emotion inside the water. Okay, this is the reason why we want to not just filter water, but we want to restructure it. So we can keep going here.
Comes out of our tap system has been, ejected as urine and fecal matter, and it's just been processed a million different times, and it contains 1,000 levels of hell. And this kind of sounds like New Age hokum, which I'm absolutely not into at all. But this translates into us feeling miserable and bad and horrible. And by the way, I feel a ton better since taking megadoses of vitamin C. I'm about on week 3 of that now. I feel like a crap load better on megadose of vitamin C. Obviously, I'm fat and out of shape, and I've been vegging out too much on. I never actually ate bad food. I just ate too much, sitting behind the computer answering thousands of emails. I grabbed too many cashews or grabbed too many. Recently, it's been cherries. I love eating cherries or grapefruit or oranges. I love fruit, but obviously, I'm fat and out of shape. So, I'm not trying to paint myself as the picture of healthier, but I'm trying to explain something that's. Anyway, let's get onto the device. This one. Well, actually, first let's talk about how horrible the other structured water systems are. People actually stick water in like an upside down 2-liter jug of emptied Coke, and they'll spin the water around, and they'll say, "Oh, that's structured water." Well, no, that's ridiculous. You're just spinning water around like it's in a frigging washing machine. To get to the hard drive analogy, and of course they use these monster magnets for scrubbing a hard drive of its binary data, right? They'll actually take the platter lid off. I got hundreds of hard drives in this house, literally. They used to call me the god of hard drives. And they'll actually take the edge of one of these monster magnets and they'll run it across, and it'll wipe them. It'll just wipe them cleaner than a virgin's honey pot. You can find countless videos on YouTube about how you can wipe a hard drive. And what the structured water does with the correct, and I am Magneto, if you will, and I know more about magnets than anybody else on, I can actually say that. I know more about magnets than anybody else on YouTube. These expensive devices that are used in your basement for, yeah, I'm getting to the device. Hold on for a damn second. These devices that you use for inline, you'll actually take a section apart of your piping or your PVC in the basement. They'll stick them in. The water passes through 1,000,000 miles a second. Nothing is really done. They'll have an array of magnets, or usually just one magnet or a weak magnet. Nothing's really happening. The point I'm getting to is all these expensive BS structured water devices, well, they're well-intentioned and some are way more effective than others. I came up with the most, I said, well, you know, it's about erasing the memory, erasing the nature of, you know, I don't want to say evil of the water, but I mean, you just imagine 10,000 times reprocessed pea water, which is what you're getting out of the tap. You know, erasing the memory out of water like that or any other sort of rancid water. And this is it. The actual water itself, and this is one, my one that hangs from a post. I actually hang this from a post and I actually pour my water through here. This is actually attached to a bag down here. Then I stick it in my refrigerator and I drink it later, usually with ice cubes. And I also, too, make my ice cubes out of this. You don't want water to rush, you know, 1,000,000 miles a second, but also, too, those structures are completely unconventional and they're not effective. There's the water passes exactly 12 times around the centrifugal edge of both sides, not 12 times of each side, 12 times in total. And it's actually wrapped, it passes 4 times, and of course it makes 8 traverses across the edge of the neodymium. Here you can actually see it. This is the 1-inch side. It's a 2-inch by 2-inch, 2-inch by 2-inch by 1-inch neodymium. I actually let the water drip pour through this. It actually flows quite fast. And it'll actually pass 8 times around, 12 times in total, 12 times in total around the centrifugal edge of the neodymium iron boron magnet. And it actually drains out into the bag. I actually hooked the bag up on this end of the pipe. The PVC on this actually gets worn out after about 8 months or so. You can buy like 100 foot of this for like next to nothing on eBay. The 2-inch by 2-inch by neodymium, 2-inch by 2-inch by 1-inch neodymiums. Some of them are in 45 gauss, some are in 48 gauss. Makes no difference. You can find them for that much on eBay. Neodymium actually goes up and down like silver right now. Neodymium magnets are insanely cheap. But here you can actually see how I have it wrapped. And I actually have electrical tape holding it together and duct tape. It only takes 10 minutes for me to remake one of these with the tubing once the tubing gets worn out. But I just let this drip pour through. I'm not trying to gush it through at 1,000,000 miles a second. So there are 12 traverses across the centrifugal edge of the magnet. 12 traverses. And just like running this exact same magnet, by the way, are used by people for erasing hard drives, erase the memory out of the water. And that sounds like New Age hokum. That's actually part of the reason why I actually never made a video on this device, because it's like talking to people about ghosts, for example. I can make like 100 videos about ghosts. I've seen them a few times. I've written some articles on ghosts. I've even posted them up for people to download. People think you're like into New Age wackadoodleness or lunacy when you start talking about ghosts. And, you know, they're just disembodied beings. You know, the most brilliant minds who ever lived, like Tesla, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras. I mean, they talked about these things. I mean, they're way smarter than the hell than any of you. Way the hell smarter than you are, okay? Let's just face it. You know, they knew that these were logical necessities of nature, within the scope or spectrum of nature. But, you know, talking about structured water superficially sounds stupid, but it actually changes the osmotic nature of the water, and it wipes clean, just like wiping clean a hard drive, the memory within the water. As I also too mentioned in a prior video, and I should have mentioned that in the video from a few days ago, people actually got like heart transplants from like dead people that donated their organs. The person that got another person's heart or liver would actually wake up with completely different, you know, they were not different personalities. They would wake up with a whole new set of memories. Not a whole set, but, you know, complete memories that they should not have. But those are the memories, the same experiences of the person that died. It's not in the tissues. Well, it is in the tissues. It was in the water. The memory that was in the water that ended up passing into their system. So yes, and like I said, thousands of people have mentioned that water has memories. I explained in the prior video where the locus or topos of those memories are. But anyway, this is not only is this cheap to build, it's fast to build, and it is way the hell more effective than any other structured water device that you would see. And then people sell them for hundreds of dollars, and they're completely ludicrous to go inline in your pipes in the basement, and they're all about pimping and selling you something. Structured water is real. Those devices are mostly ineffective. Some are more effective than others, obviously. So this one is extremely simple. It's extremely compact, and it damn well works because the water makes 12 traverses in total across the centrifugal edge of the magnet, regardless of which side. And this wipes the water clean of the memory. It's magnetically structured water. I've done, as I showed you in a video yesterday, endless, way over 70. And I'll show you too, water frozen with a super powerful giant pyramidal magnet, what happens with it. Since you asked, I've done that experiment before. The results are quite unique, actually. But this is the structured water device. I think you can see how it's wrapped. It's very simple. It's wrapped as much as you can wrap it on the 2-inch side, and then what you do is you take the tubing and you change positions to the other side. So you end up with 12 wrappings. You could actually get 14 out of it, but I mean, that's a little bit of overkill. So this is the most simple. It's cheap to build, it's fast to build, and it's undeniably the most effective structured water device that you could build. You don't actually have to have a funnel. I'm actually using a giant syringe on this one end. This is where I actually trickle the water in. I actually put my water source. I'll actually use my bottled water. Sometimes I'll use distilled water, and I'll just pour it in through this. It starts kicking out at a gentle stream. You could fill up my bag. I use a bag attachment on the end of this that I throw into the refrigerator. Fill up a 1.5 liter bag at a trickle rate. I mean, not literally trickle like, you know, like a urine stream or something, you know, the trickle. You just pouring it in at a regular rate where the syringe was filled all the way up. You could fill up my 1.5 liter bag in about 3.5 minutes. That's a 1.5 liter. But you don't want the water to gush through here at, you know, light speed. You know, turn on the tap or something, and, you know, try to push the water as fast as you can through it. You just gently want it to pass through this system, and this is as simple as it gets. Did you want something more complicated, more expensive? I am all about simplicity. I think I came up with this in 2010. I know the oldest one I have was from 2012. I didn't think people would want me to make a video about structured water device, but I've always been proud of it because it's more simple than everything else that's out there, and also too more effective. So anyway, thanks for watching. I don't like getting this magnet this close to my computer. This magnet is really quite powerful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. If you do, send me an email, a comment, whatever, in the links below, which have my email. You know, any donation always kindly appreciated, but I'm not selling anything. So do with the information as you will.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together, I'm going to find all these parts, ingredients for this structured water, and then what I'm going to do is actually build one on a video, show you step by step how to do it, where, and have links to the places to get these items. I'll put it in a video. But anyway, look at scripture, look at the language telling us these things, telling us that water has memory, that water reacts to its environment. Right here, just the yod in there tells us that the water reacts to its environment. It absorbs things. Remember, I told you the feminine is a lot like water, that women absorb. Think about semen. When it goes into the woman, it's absorbed into the woman, and she takes on the essence or the character, the mind, the will, the emotion of the man that she's with. She also takes shape of her container. So fascinating stuff. And this is out of scripture. So this is not, like he said, some new age garbage. This is real stuff. So we'll see you in the next one.